I remember the scent of my mother's perfume and the comfort I felt that she would hold me. But as I grow wise and I grow old and my life story unfolds, I realize the kind's fingers in my father's hands that would mold me. So I remember mostly everything that he ever said and he told me because my father, he was an original OG. See, while these young cats were shooting dice, smoking and drinking, my pops was all about his money. His his white walls, his TV antennas, and the curved fillers on his Lincoln. See, everybody knew his name, that's because everybody knew his game. Nah, he wasn't selling dope, but he was a hustler just the same. Not a wild dude, but he wasn't tame. See, his game was pimping hoes to these lanes. To these Marks and Johns in search of fast women and good times like James. See, it was purse first and ass last. Not given much of a chance, he was a victim of his circumstance, expected to live hard and die fast. Born already with 3 strikes against his ass. Poor, black, and a bastard child, all alone, age 8, when his mother passed. So just like her, his childhood education became a thing of his distant past. A little black boy on the road to perdition, raised by his elderly grandmother, who all she wanted to do was tithe, pray, go to church, and go fishing. So when it came to his education, it wasn't like she wouldn't listen, but his illegitimacy combined with Big Mama's illiteracy left him in an ill position. Raised under damn near slave-like conditions because you had to watch your mouth in the South because Jim Crow and Emmett Till was still what it was all about. You know, folks up north would sneak in late at night and try to steal you away from the said prophet's house because back then it was thought that you could flee to these cities up north and be free, but that was done. So goodbye Memphis, Atlanta, hello Chicago, Indianapolis, here we come. The place where the destruction of our race begun. Our extended family subtracted all the way down from 2 and divided into 1. So from equality, he still could never run because kids made fun of his skin that was blackened by the sun. This little dude was so dang on black that he was blue. And when Granny said, you gonna work, you don't eat, he hit the street and said, forget school. By any means necessary was the only rule, so he used his black fist as a power tool. Forget being the educated fool. Squares of vanilla wafer patiently waiting on your 40 acres and your mule. See, he was a black stud whose penis was long and his sperm was strong. Maybe a combination of both, of being his son, I could attest to the first, but the 10 kids he gave birth, so there ain't much doubt that I could be wrong. He was a rough rider all day long. See, no time for them racial slurs and slandering. See, forget the white man's poll taxes and gerrymandering. See, he rolled right off into a grimy underworld of pimping and pandering. Sex, money, and drugs. Dope addicts, pushers, and thugs. Popcorn, the gorilla pimps, and cookie cops who want to fill you with slugs. See, he was new to the scene, but he wasn't green, but he still had room to grow. See, one thing about Nate was he could relate to the desperate mentality of a hoe. See, a stray and a runaway at the end of the day with nowhere to go. See, she can care less about a dude hustle, she just go with the flow. Forget the dough, no time to rest, so she invest in being the best hoe. Ready, willing, and able. A choice between being a bottom piece or just one of the hoes in the stable. Staying true because she wants to see you reach legendary status like a fable. See, no desire to be your wife, but on your life she wants to turn the tables. You see, prostitution had a simple way of bringing out a woman's whole constitution. Simply explain the way is teaching these girls don't sleep around, you feed for free. Get a fee when giving your precious goods away. What these dudes be balling and shot calling like they some players in the NBA. See, he had a rainbow coalition of dark-skinned honey, red bones, and pink toes. See, wasn't no flowers in these gardens, see, these women was hoes, raised up from the cracks of the city streets or from the concrete they rose. The type of chicks that'll take the razor to your face to try to cut off your nose. Because the game can be filled with trauma. But it never took me and my big bro around no bull crap or no drama. But still on some nights it was, shh, don't tell your mom. Because the game didn't stop the night we stayed with Pops. He might have made the stops, but the hope still came through. And they sweat skirts and tops and made they drops. And in these situations, the conversation from his liquored up breath would give us our ghetto education in graphic details and vivid explanations on how to behave and avoid a newly grave and just being plain old stupid and brave in different situations. So when I start tracing my roots, I always come back to the fact that my pop was an old Mac who was just lacing my boots. See, I looked up to a man who wore gold rings on his hands and stayed fly in three-piece leisure suits. But I ain't never hid the fact that I may not approve of all the things that he was and he did. See, in his own way, he sacrificed his life and he literally fell on a knife for his kids. But trying to protect and redirect us away from the strife and the street life that he lived. So I always felt the need to take heed to the surreal advice he had to give, like always look a man in his eye, never lie, never firm grip when shaking his hand, and never rest on your laurels. So when somebody try to test your code and ethics and morals, you will always have a place to land. Because he came to understand that no human soul is pure. It can only endure so much pollution in this evolution of a man. But for him, the other old cats like Iceberg Slim, it was either pimp or die. But to this day, I can truly open up my mouth and say he only ever told me one lie. And that's that real men don't cry. See, not even when in pain. So in years I've been refraining from the tears, the same as defense mechanism of our brain. But refraining from tears, it don't make us no greater, no lesser. It just increases the blood pressure in our veins. So in this way, me, my pops, and a lot of other black men is just the same. So what I'm trying to say, because in my DNA, I keep a pimp card embedded in my genes. But the tilted scales of poetic justice always prevails when my shit start to fall apart at the seams. So remember the scent of my mother's perfume and the comfort I felt as she would hold me. But as I grow wise and I grow old and my life story unfolds, I realize the callous fingers, my father's hands, that were mold.